Zabbix for beginners, working with Zabbix, part 1. In two last videos, we talk about how you can install the Zabbix, how you can install the SSH server, how we can configure the MySQL for the Zabbix, and in this video, we want to talk about different architecture of Zabbix and components which are involved in Zabbix as well. We want to talk about how we can monitor the devices and working with Zabbix for the first time. Okay, let's start. First, let's talk about what is the component which are involved in Zabbix. We have different components in Zabbix. For example, we have proxies which are responsible to receive the monitoring data from the devices like servers, switches, routers, and so on. And these proxy will store the data on data center, which the database, which should be Microsoft SQL, MySQL, Oracle, everything. And this DBMS or database should be or must be SQL based. And if something happens, something bad happens, the proxy will forward the notification to Zabbix server. You know that Zabbix server is a core engine of Zabbix, and we have GUI. I mean the web browser. For example, this is the GUI of Zabbix, the web browser, which helps you to configure the Zabbix. And also we have media server, email for sending email, SMS, or everything it takes. So it is the complete architecture of the Zabbix. It's a bit complex, so we have another architecture of Zabbix. In this architecture, we install the proxy on Zabbix itself. So you know that all of these components, GUI, database, email server, could be installed in different machine or one machine. So in this architecture, we install the proxy on the Zabbix server's machine, but it still is a bit complex, and it's not appropriate for us who are beginners in Zabbix and Linux. So our approach is installing all of the components on Zabbix, and we have already installed all components on Zabbix. So our Zabbix server, this guy, our Zabbix server will include GUI, SQL, SMS, or email server, media server, as well as the core engine of Zabbix. So, how Zabbix can monitor the device? Totally, Zabbix can use SNMP for monitoring the device, can use Zabbix Agent, as well as checking services. For SNMP is a standard protocol for monitoring devices and use sort of a strange number called OID to monitor CPU, RAM, etc. And we have to install or active SNMP our device. For example, if I want to install not R3, for example, I want to R1. Here I want to monitor R1. This is my Zabbix server, and the Zabbix server is responsible to monitor R1. So by SNMP, it means I have to install SNMP on R1. For Cisco environments, we can go to configuration environment, and the commands is SNMP it means in English it means please active SNMP server. For the community string, I put a CBT for all, and it is only read only, because by SNMP you can run the command remotely. So it means this is a password sort of password, so-called password. Anyway, it is a sort of password for monitoring the server. Okay, or maybe the device, and do right. So show run section SNMP. Okay, so if you want to use SNMP, we have to install or activate SNMP on device. And the story is the Zabbix server. The Zabbix server first, if the Zabbix server wants to uh, use SNMP for monitoring, will send their request. For example, what is your memory usage now? And the router or any devices will reply, my memory usage is, for example, 1 megabyte. What is your bandwidth? This is my bandwidth. So by sending requests and replying, the Zabbix server will understand or will find out what is the resource which are used on any devices. SNMP is appropriate for network devices like routers, switches, etc. And also you can install SNMP on servers with virtual machines everywhere. For example, on Windows servers and Linux server, you can use SNMP as well because it's a standard protocol. So, what is a Zabbix agent? Zabbix agent is a software, is an application which developed by Zabbix. So, if you want to install the Zabbix agent, you have to go to Zabbix downloads. Here, agents, yes, precompiled agents for different operating system. We have different agents. For example, for Windows, for Solaris, here for FreeBSD. So if you want to use this solution for monitoring devices, which only is appropriate for servers, because you have to install Zabbix agent on the machine, you can go in this site. But please notice that the default port for using this service is 150 10050. So this port, TCP port, should be open on your firewall, for example. And the last thing is Zabbix has this facility to check the service. For example, if you want to check web service is working or not, you can use this facility as well. Okay, for us as a beginners in beginners in Zabbix environment, Zabbix world, we have different menus. In the Zabbix configuration menus is most important menu, and you can configure everything here. For example, host, you can configure the action. I will explain what is the action, what is the host. So the most important option for us in the Zabbix is configuration. For monitoring menu is in this menu you can monitor everything. For example, you monitor the graph, monitor the all service. So this menu help you to monitor your device. And so obviously first you have to add device first, and after that you can use monitoring menu to see the result of monitoring. And the reports, where are you? Here in the reports you can create a report. For example, I don't know, each month, each per week, you can create different monitor. In administration menu you can add the users, for example here, users, media types, and all option which is related to administration of the Zabbix itself. So jump back to our scenario. What do we want? At the moment, we want to monitor the router 1. The IP address of router 1 is 192.168.1.201. We want to use SNMP for monitoring, and so let's do it. For this, I go to configuration, host, and here I can define what I want to monitor, the device I want to monitor. For example, here I want to monitor R1, so the host name I will consider is R1. Create a host, here R1. So we have different group here. At the moment, please let me use templates. I will explain later in couple of videos what is the difference between these groups, but please trust me and use template. We don't want to use agents, so I remove this, and we want to use SNMP, so I will add SNMP, and the IP address of the router 1 is 192.168.1.201. So you have two options: use IP address or DNS. I recommend that we use the IP address, because if you want to use DNS server, you have to have DNS server in your environment. So suppose that DNS server is down and the IP address doesn't resolve. So I'd recommend that you use IP address. Anyway, you will need the IP address. So here the IP address, okay, add. So here you will see we have the host R1 as a new what do you call host. So next, so what is the item? Let me show you first. Each host has different parameters or factors. The one of them are items. What is the items exactly? Items is object of host, for example, memory, CPU, the one thing you want to monitor. For example, you want to monitor the bandwidth, you want to monitor the interface. So the interface, the CPU, the memory, all of them are the bandwidth. Suppose that we want to monitor CPU usage or CPU load and memory load. So please notice that when we are talking about let me show you here. So, okay, in R1 I want to create new item. I go to items, create new items. Here we have a name here, name, type, key, and all of this stuff that I will explain are very important. Try to use a name which makes you sense. For example, I can use test. It's only a name, but it doesn't make me sense. So I try to select a name which makes me sense. Suppose that here are items. You have 2000 of items here. So test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4. They don't make me sense. So I try to use a sort of name which makes me sense. Okay. When we are talking about CPU load, we have two different items: CPU idle and CPU usage. In memory as well, when we are talking about the memory or RAM load, we have two types item: memory usage and free memory. Let me show you. the task manager. Here is our CPU. For example, at the moment, I don't know, 50% is used, and here, for example, I have about 16 gigabyte RAM and about 5 gigabyte is using. So we have the total and the used, and this part is free. So if I jump to here, it means system idle, for example, is spending uh, about 80% of my process, and so we have CPU idle and we have CPU usage here. In here we have CPU usage, and this part is CPU idle. So when we are talking about everything, when we are talking about the monitoring something, we have usage and free. Suppose that at the moment I want to monitor CPU idle. So I put a name here, CPU idle or idle. Okay. The second thing is the type. What does type mean? You have different method to monitor. The one of these method is SNMP version 2, which we want to work with. You can use SNMP version 3. If you install this agent, Zabbix agents, you can use Zabbix agent as well. So we have different parameters or different choice to monitor the devices. We use, for example, at the moment we use SNMP version 2. And what is the key? It's very important. Please notice that you have to use a unique name for key. What is the key? Zabbix has this facility to let you use a special item. This special item is a combination of other items. For example, you can create new item called item 3 and say, hey Zabbix, item 3 equals item 2 plus item 1. So for these, or for example, item 5 is item 4 divided by item 6. Zabbix called these special items as calculated items. If you want to have more information about calculate item, you can go to documentation of the Zabbix documentation. We are using 2.4 manual configuration, items, item types. Here, calculated items. You can find more information about calculated items here. These items is create calculation of based on calculation based on others items. So for creating these type of items, you have to use other items key. So for at the moment for us, it's good idea to use unique name with a special name for the keys for each item, which make us sense. For this, for example, you have to obey. Let me find it first. Here, create item key. Okay, in item key we have a couple of rules for call the key or key names. For example, you have to use these characters. You cannot use a space between the name. So what else? Okay, I recommend that what we have a name, we have a key. I recommend that when we want to select a name and key, we use similar things as a name for key because it make us sense. For example, when you want to use a name for CPU usage, use CPU usage, and as the same for CPU idle, use CPU idle. Let's do it with the example. Example one is we want to monitor memory load. Memory load includes free memory and memory usage. So we have for monitoring memory load, we have to create two different items. Okay, item number one. Okay, where are you? Here. The item number one is memory free. Okay, memory free dash R1. The type is SNMP2. The key is, I use again memory free, but I have to use without dash or minus. Okay, this is the key. And for SNMP, this is the host. This is the host. We have only this option because when we, let me show you. Let me first show you. Come here. When we were creating new host, we delete or removed agent interface, and we only have here SNMP interface. So here we have only SNMP interface. So what is SNMP OID? To be honest, it has a long story. What is the SNMP? You can study yourself, but you can search yourself. But believe me, when the Zabbix or any SNMP servers wants to monitor the device by SNMP, they will use a specific strange number like that. So like that. So it means the Zabbix will send a message to R1. This is request message. I want to monitor your free memory. So how Zabbix server will send this message? How the router identified that what is the question of the Zabbix by this number? What does it mean? The Zabbix will send, I want to monitor this number. And this number, this strange string number, is a unique number for R1 and for all devices. So router 1 identified that based on this number, identified that router 1 based on this number will identify that the Zabbix is searching for free memory. So it will reply, okay, this is my free memory. As the same, if the Zabbix wants to have more information or monitor the memory which is used by router, will send, hey, I want to monitor this number, and the router identified that, okay, this is my usage memory, so this is the answer. It means for any item, we have to have specific strange number. So we want to monitor free memory. Free memory, this is the number for free memory. go to configuration. Okay, what is the community string? We configure on router CBT for all, CBT for all. And what is the information type or type of information? It is numeric, it is character, it is text. No, it is numeric. What is the interval? What is the unit? I will explain what I will explain later. But for example, if you want to monitor the bandwidth, so the unit is bit per second or byte per second. So you can identify the units here. And what is the update interval? It's very important. Let me show you. I'm talking about update interval. By default is 30 seconds. I put it in my lab. In my lab, I put it in each 2 seconds. What does it mean? It means this is first request. What is your memory usage? And 2 seconds later, what is your memory usage? Again, 2 seconds later, what is your memory usage? After 2 seconds, and so on. So interval means after which seconds I means Zabbix server will ask again. So it depends on the environment. Sometimes you need to put in 2, sometimes you need to put it 5. At the moment in my environment I put it 2 because it's a laboratory, but C second is enough in the real environment, or 10 seconds is good, but it depends on it. You can calculate it yourself. And the what is the multiplier? Multiplier. So you know that we have difference between byte and bit. Byte here and bit here. If you want to, if for example you are monitoring the interface by byte and you want to change it in bit, you can multiply this number to 8. So if you want to multiply, it's good for byte and bit, calculating byte and bit. But anyway, if you want to multiple a number in the value you are monitoring, you can use these options. And what is the store value? Store value for us here is as is, but generally we have 2 different options. As is, it means the value you receive from router, please store it, but you can use delta, and I will explain later. Okay, first go to here, add. Okay, it means I go back to host, items. Host R1 has 1 item now. Okay, let's see what happens in GNS3. This is GNS3. This is my Zabbix. Let's check first the Zabbix can ping 192.168.1. Okay, here I want to monitor that. Okay, new version. Okay, let me update it later. Please notice each, this is request, this is response. 2 seconds later, request, response, request, response. So the IOD is this number, strange number, and okay, this is the query. Okay, it's good. So now it means our Zabbix is monitoring the R1. During this time, Let's add another items. Mm, Now we want to monitor memory usage. We are monitoring this, we want to monitor this one. So jump to configuration, new item, memory used. Okay, the name is memory used dash R1. The type is SNMP version 2. The OID is this strange number. Copy and paste to remove this part. CBT for all. This is, do it in 2 seconds again. Okay, add fast. Okay, we have two items for R1. Let's place more. We want to monitor, for example, CPU load as well. So we have to monitor CPU idle and CPU usage, two items these times again. So I do it fast, you can follow me. Again, new item. First, for example, CPU idle. This is the key, or this is the SNMP OID for CPU idle. So it is SNMP here. The name based on our scenario, CPU idle R1. No, R1. Okay, remove this part. CBT for all. Monitor it each 5 seconds this time. And new item again. CPU usage R1. Key is CPU usage. CBT for all. And here CPU load or CPU usage here each 5 seconds. Good. Now let's capture. You can see different number. This is for memory, this is for CPU, sorry, this is for memory, and we are monitoring at the moment. And each 5 seconds and each 2 seconds, the Zabbix is monitoring the routers. So let's see what's more. Suppose that we want to monitor interface, the bandwidth, for example. But the issue in monitoring the bandwidth, the issue is which interface. For example, we have one CPU, we have one memory. I'm not good. Drawer. Anyway, but we have different interface. Interface here, interface here, interface here. So when we are talking about the, for example, interface bandwidth for, again, income and outcome traffic, which interface we are talking about? Let me show you. For example, R1, show IP interface brief, show IP interface brief. we have difference in interface. Which interfaces we are talking about? This interface, and how we can say to Zabbix and routers which interface we are talking about. This is the main issue. For explaining about that, we have to have more information about SNMP structure. When we talk about, for example, memory usage, we have only one standard SNMP OID. As the same for CPU usage, memory usage, CPU idle, memory idle, everything. So when we are talking about finding SNMP OID, generally we have two different approach. The first thing is finding a unique strange number like this, or finding a new strange unique name. What does it mean? It means, let me show you. Where are you? I don't know. Okay, let me. No. Let me find it for you. Let me find it for you. Okay. Here we have different name, specific name, different ID or OID, and the description. You can study this and have information about SNMP OID. So the issue is, when we are talking about interface, we have a specific. Let me show you here. I think I found it, something here. Here they are for interface. Here, for example, this keyword means the total number of octets received on the interface, including frame. So this part is a number, which means total number of bytes received, because it means received, and here the total number of bytes which sent, which are sent. So what does it mean? It means when we use these strange keyword, the in means we are talking about incoming traffic for the speed of fast Ethernet or 100 megabit per second. This part means we are talking about number of bytes. So if you want to change it to bit, you have to multiply in 8. And here it means interface number 1. So if I want to change it to English, it means the total number of downloaded byte, including frames in fast Ethernet, which is 100 megabit per second, up to 100 megabit per second. This strange name equals to this strange number, and also this is the interface number. As the same, if you want to talk about outgoing traffic or upload, you can use interface out octet 1. It means the total number of uploaded bytes, included frame, in fast Ethernet, and this is the OID strange name. And again, this part means interface 1. So, but new generation of routers, new generation of switches has no idea about fast Ethernet. They only support gigabit Ethernet. So if your switch, if your device support gigabit Ethernet, the keyword is this. So in English means the number of download in this part, this time speed 1000 or gigabit per second on the interface number of 6. So we have again this strange and this strange number. So oh, let clear. mm, Clear. hmm. Okay. It's gone. Anyway, so for different interface we have, it means this specific number, this specific string has two part: the fixed part, not fixed part, or variable part. So if I want to talk about fast Ethernet in different interface, we have to, in for example, in downloading, this is the fixed part of the number, this is the part which should be changed. How I can identify that? In Cisco routers I can use this command. Let me show you. So show SNMP MIB, yeah, interface MIB interface index. So what does it mean? Fast Ethernet 00, the index number is 1. So it means this part, um, this part is fixed. It means fast Ethernet, oops, not this, only 1 means fast Ethernet 00, because the fast Ethernet 00 has index 1. Fast Ethernet, I don't know, 11 is index 4. Fast Ethernet 20 is index 5. If I want to, for example, use fast Ethernet to monitor serial 20, I should use this number. What was the index? It's 5. So let me change the color first. I should use 5. So this number now can monitor the router, the serial 20 as router 1. Does it make sense? Okay, let's jump in. Now we can monitor the interface. Which interface I want to monitor? I want to monitor interface fast Ethernet 00. So I jump back to router 1, fast Ethernet 00 is index 1. So I can use this number. And this is index number. So let's do it. Item, it means if interface, I'm talking about incoming traffic, I want to monitor byte. This is the name only but I want to make it sense, so it's for R1. So I remove these. I want to use SNMP version 2, and OID is 1.3 oops 1.3.6.1.2.122.1.10.1. Okay, CBT for all. Here the unit is bit per second. Very good. Here, let's change the color again. Okay, here we are talking about the bandwidth. We want to monitor the bandwidth, but the value which SNMP give us is byte. So this number only give us the number of byte. So we want to change it to bits. The first thing is I change the unit bit per second, and I want to change it in number as well. I will multiple in 8. So I'll change byte to bit. Again, where are you? Again, then value I put it 3, for example. But let me show you again here what we had. This number give us the total number of downloaded bytes. Total number of, not bandwidth, total number of. So let's jump and search what Cisco said about that. Google calculate bandwidth Cisco utilization SNMP. It should be good. How to calculate. Okay, it's the article. So what we have, the Cisco said we have only by SNMP we can only monitor the number of byte. If you want to have bandwidth per second, you have to use this formula. Okay, calculate this formula, and Zabbix do it for us. For using this formula, what should you do is the store value is delta speed per second. Good enough, simple enough. Okay, add. Now we have a couple of items, new items for the next one. Here for the next one is interface out architects for interface 1, for router 1. It's SNMP version 2. The key is this. I will delete the rest of the characters. The OID, I think I have these here. Yes. Okay. This is for interface number 1, so this number is number 1. CBT for all, type is numeric, unit is bit per second, so please multiply this in 8, and this is speed per second. Interval is 3, I think. Okay, so we have a couple of monitoring items. Graph. Yes, graph. So we are monitoring. But how we can see them? We can use the items. What item do for us? You can create graph. Oh, sorry. We have to create graph. What graph does for us? You can create new graph for each item that you want, and you can see the result of monitoring. Let's do it. For each, at the moment we have host 1. For host R1, we have 6 items, different items. Now we want to create graphs for these items. Go to graphs, create a name, put a unique name, for example CPU, well, CPU load. Okay, with its we have different type of graphs, like Metis, for example, this type. So you can add the items, which item you want to add for this graph. You can select one item, or you can select 2 items. As I want to show you CPU load includes 2 items, I will select 2 items here. Okay, you can change the color, add graph 1. Okay, change the name. No, it's okay. CPU load. Again, memory usage, memory free and memory used for R1, and create a graph for downloads, for example. This is a normal graph for you. And for download graph we have this one. Select. Okay, so you can choose only one items. Upload graph. Okay, change the color to for example red. Okay, so it's done. We created different graph. Easy. So if you need more information about the graph, you can go to, not here, not here, here. You can go to visualization, something like that. Configuration. Oh, not here, not here. In 2 point. Okay. Manual configuration, visualization, graph. Here you can have you can go here and have more information about the graph. Okay, so let's see the result. Let's see what we did at the moment. For this, you can go to, that was configuration part. Now we want to see the result, so we have to go to monitoring part. In monitoring part, we have a dashboard, and we want to monitor which graph. Here I can say I want to monitor the R1, In R1 I want to see memory usage, for example. Good. So this is a memory usage, and you can see CPU usage as well. You can see the percent of CPU usage here. For example, the CPU idle here, the CPU idle is green, so the green is about 100%, about 100%, 99. So I want to see download. This is the download. This is the upload. Good. Okay, let's check. Let's check. For example, I see to download and go here. I want to ping 192.168.1.202. Please repeat this ping 1000 times with the size of 200. Okay, let's see what happens. You can see the graph immediately changed because in the item configuration, host, items, for example, in downloads, we say please ask the question, ask for the bandwidth each 3 seconds. So after a while, 3 seconds pass, so you can see the graph immediately change. What about CPU? CPU is still good. What about the memory? Memory is still good. About 86 or 87% is free. So everything is okay, and Zabbix is working probably. So what is the trigger? This is our scenario, and Zabbix at the moment is monitoring the R1. So here we can monitor the Zabbix, and we can see the Zabbix is monitoring R1, and we can see the traffic. So, but what if R1 is down? Suppose that in the real environment, the R1 is responsible to forward the traffic from somewhere to somewhere else. And what if the R1 is down? So actually, maybe the main reason of the monitoring is sending notification to the admin. So the trigger is responsible to watch the data which Zabbix is storing on the database, and evaluate these monitoring data, and do something which you tell. For example, you want to say if the average of using of the bandwidth for 5 seconds is more than 3 megabit per second. What does it mean? It means this is the router and someone is downloading from the internet. So in this case, we are monitoring the bandwidth. We are monitoring the bandwidth of here, and we say if this bandwidth is going up 3 megabit per second in this example, 3 megabit per second more than 5 seconds, something bad happens. Please please change the target to problem. We have a problem if the bandwidth is more than the bandwidth usage, is more than 3 megabit per second. The formula is this one, but you can make it yourself. So let me show you how you can do it in Zabbix. Okay, this is Zabbix. We jump to configuration. We go to host, R1, triggers. Create new triggers. For example, I want to say used bandwidth. Okay, outgoing traffic more than 3 megabit per second. So I say I traffic 3 megabit per second. This is a name, and I say okay, which item? I'm talking about the outgoing traffic, so this is outgoing traffic. Average, average is more than something. For I'm talking about the 3 megabit per second. 3 megabit per second. So 3, this is kilo, this is megabyte. For 5 seconds. Okay. See, is in router 1, if this item, this is the key. Please notice, this is the key. Let me show you. It is not a name, not a name. This is the key. That's why key is very important and should be unique. So if this key, which is for outgoing traffic, belongs to router 1, average in 5 seconds is more than this number, the trigger will change. Okay, it's done. And now we have one trigger for host R1. So if you want to have more information about triggers, not here, here, triggers, you can come here. More expression, more formula, configuration, trigger, everything you can study here. Okay, so what we did, we create a host. We create a host is number 1. For this host, we create the item. For this host, for this host, we create the item. For this item, we create a create a graph, and for this item, we create a trigger as well. So, what's next? we have a long story. This video maybe is the most important video, so maybe the longest one, I don't know, but the next step is configuring the action. What is the action? We know that the trigger is please watch the item. Please watch the item. It means trigger. So if the trigger was problem, the action means do something. So when we are talking about the action, we are talking about the sending email, sending SMS, I don't know, and we use email and SMS, which is called media type in Zabbix. An action can also run a script, not an script, a script. Run a script. What does it mean? It means action has two different ability: sending email and SMS, and or as well as running the script. So based on our scenario, if you remember, we want to send an email. So we want to send an email to someone. So we use SMTP server. That's why we need SMTP server, which should be installed on Ubuntu server or Zabbix server before. And this is the command which we use for checking if the SMTP server is work or not. So please notice that this I will send the email to this email address. This email address is my email address. This is my email address, but I never check it. I never check it because this is only the email address for the lab. So I'll never check this email. I never check. So anyway, if you had any problem to send email by SMTP, it means you have a problem in configuration SMTP server. You have to troubleshoot, and you can use this command for troubleshooting, but troubleshooting is not this video issue. But if you only follow me, if you follow my instruction, you have no problem. So if you need more information about the actions, you can go here, configuration, host notification, I think should be here. Yes, actions. So you can go here and have more information about the action and how action works. In our scenario, let's start for an example. Suppose that if the average of R1's bandwidth for more than 5 seconds, if the average was more than 2 kilobit per second, Zabbix should send an alert email. Please notice from my Gmail account to specific email. So we should say, hey Zabbix, use my Gmail account to send the email. So the first step is creating a trigger for our scenario, and I want to do it now. Action for host R1 trigger, create a trigger, for example income, anything else, bandwidth, 3 kilobit per second, not 3, 2 kilobit per second. Okay, I say please, if the outgoing traffic average was for 5 seconds 2002 kilobit per second. Okay, and we can delete the previous one, we don't need this. Delete selected. Okay, yes. So this is the formula if the bandwidth was more than 2 gigabit per second. The first one is okay. The second one, we have to change the configuration of SMTP server. So at the first we go to SMTP folder and we create a backup. This is a backup. So let's jump in. Where are you? Okay. Copy, paste, copy, paste. If the Unix needs the password, CBT for all. Cannot. What? Oh. I did it wrong. Okay. Now, okay. Let me show you list. We create a copy from this and rename it to this. Now I want to change it. For some of you who need uh, work with VI editor, I want to explain now more about VI editor. So now you can see all I do here. Make it smaller. Okay. First, go to somewhere. Where are you? Here. Here. Space and put this. Copy. Paste by right clicking. Escape. Down, 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 down. Okay. So copy this and paste here. Escape and shift column. In command mode, please write and quit. Okay. Again for verifying. Yes, it's okay. It's okay. Okay. So now we have to create a text file. So what is what? Okay. What I did, I changed the configuration. Tick, 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 tick. And now oh, what I did, I want to create the password file. This is the password file. This is the password file. I want to say, hey Linux, hey Ubuntu Linux, please use this email address as a sender. And for accessing this email address, this is the password. So it means it's really my password. And don't worry, I'll be change it after this video. So I go to here and here. I did it. So copy, you come here. So I username and password, escape, please save it. So what's more, we should run these commands 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have these commands here and I'll run one by one. 1, 2, 3. This is for certificate. Oops. Okay, I think I should. Okay, now again copy, this paste. Okay, now it's good. And we want to reload SMTP. Okay. So all of these done. Now we want to check which I want to be sure SNMP is working probably on Linux or not. So I will use this command. It means please send an email to this email address. If I want to check the functionality, I can use this command. Okay, let's see what we have. What do we have here? The states is sent. Okay, let's if I received it or not. No, this one, no. This one. Ah, here. Okay, haha. So this is a test email from these to these. Okay, so it means our SMTP server works probably and everything is good now. Check. So the next step is create or edit a user you want to send email to. So jump back to configuration. Now this one we don't like it now. Okay, as we want to create a user, we go to administration for users. Oh, for users. Here users, you can create a new user. I want to change only my current user admin, the user I'm logging into this. In the media part, I'm using the new media, and I want to use email address. For example, the email address is cbt for all email address gmail.com. Okay, update. It's done. Good. So we did it. Next, create an action. For create an action, we have a couple of items. Create an action, configuration again, action, and create an action. We put a name, for example, again, bandwidth 3 kilobit per second. Oh, that was 2 kilobit per second, I think. Anyway, so here we have a default subject. The default subject is the subject of the email. The default message is the body of the email, which will send to you. You can change it if you want to. So if you want to, for example, suppose that when the trigger is going to problem, an email will send to you. But if the trigger go to OK, if you want to change the message of this OK, you can use recovery message. So you can modify different message from original message for when the problem solved exactly. So it should be enabled. In the condition, you should add the the condition you want, for example, the trigger equal to my trigger add. Okay, in the operation, in the 60 seconds, please send an hello, please send an email, to who, to admin. Okay, first add here, so we did it. And now we should modify the email configuration in media type. So please notice that the SMTP server is itself, it's Zabbix or Ubuntu. So 197.0.0.1 is SMTP server. We want to use Gmail, so smtp.gmail.com is the SMTP hello, and the email which I want to use for sending email is my email. So here I go to administration, media type, add email, and I put email server is 19127.0.0.1. It's smtp.gmail.com, and it's cbt for all email @ gmail.com. Okay, it's done. So let's check it. So what does it mean? First, please check a graph for R1. In the monitoring, in the graph, in the outgoing. So please notice here we have trigger for this bandwidth. Do you see the trigger in this line? So you can see the trigger in the graph. So I will use the ping for creating the traffic. First, we can go to here and see what we have. What do we have? The event. Okay. Oh, problem. Okay, it seems we have already. Okay, let me explain. We passed our trigger, so we will need change the trigger. For example, we can go the action, no, the configuration, in the host, in the trigger. I put it, for example, 3 instead of the 2 kilobit per second. So I change the action as well. Change action, the name 3. Be sure here operation, no, the condition. Okay, it's changed automatically. Now we can go to graph. Okay, the traffic is going high. It's already sent for us, but we don't want them. We want to do it ourselves. So we go to here and create a traffic. Now the traffic should be go high. In this one, okay, the traffic is going, oops, traffic is going high. Here you can see. So if we go to here, okay, the problem, the sending email in progress. you can see. So this trigger is working, and we should wait, maybe refresh. Okay, it's sent now. It means I have to have problem. So let's check it with our configuration. Configuration, action. So the name will go to the subjects. Here we have trigger status, trigger name, trigger this trigger. What is the status? Status is problem. Is not classified yet. We can classify it as a warning, etc. And here is some commands. Start commands. You can change it. So it's problem yet. I will delete it. Now I want to make it off. I want to cancel it. So jump back here, monitor, trigger, the status is okay now. So everything is okay. One email again, it means this trigger, the problem is still problem. It's for previous. I will delete it. After a while, okay, status is okay, event status is okay, everything is okay. In monitoring, in dashboard, we don't have any trigger. In the graph, okay, the graph, you can see everything is okay now. So if you want, you can change the modify the default message in action as well. So let me show you something which I think is important. We go to configuration, we go to host and create different items. Each items for each interface or each object you want to monitor. But what if we have sort of devices like this device I want to show you? This is one of my core switch in one network. Let me show you. Show IP interface brief. What if I had these different interfaces? For example, 24, 30. I don't know. A lot of interfaces, a lot of items I should monitor. I cannot introduce one by one all of these monitors. All of these interface to Zabbix. It's too hard. Suppose that we have thousands of devices. Each device has thousands of interface. How I can introduce one by one all of these interfaces to Zabbix? So in the next video, I want to show you how you can use templates to make monitoring easy and make it more practical. Okay, that was a long video, I know. So sorry for this long video, but I think it was very important to have all of these concepts in one video. I hope it's informative for you, and I want to thank you for viewing.